Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Florida Friendly Landscaping homeowner webinar series. We had a little change up this month. The person who was supposed to give the talk has left UF. So, unfortunately, I was disappointed that, we couldn't do nature journaling, but I found a person who is just as great and who has a wonderful talk for us today. And it's Amanda Marek. I will let her introduce herself in a minute after I get done with, all of these, housekeeping things. And we will continue to let people in, as before we start the actual presentation. Let's see. Welcome to the Florida Friendly Landscaping Program's Homeowner Webinar Series, a series given every third Tuesday of the month at 11 a.m. Eastern. My name is Jen Marvin, and I'm the Florida Friendly for Home Landscapes Coordinator. Today we have Amanda Marek speaking with us about small edibles for small spaces. Your microphones have been muted. If you have questions, please type them in the chat box and I'll moderate at the end. We'll have a question answer period at the end of the presentation. Please stick around until the end of to take the exit survey, which will pop up automatically on your browser. So, look for that and please take the survey, especially tell me what you want to see next year as topics for this webinar. It's been 3 years now and it's really hard not to duplicate topics. So, anything you want to hear about, let me know. The survey also lets us know how we're doing and what else we can provide for you. Our next presentation will be October 17th with Don Rainey speaking about managing salinity in your landscape. Again, that's 11 a.m. It's the third Tuesday of the month, October 17th, Eastern Time. And then please note that our November webinar has been also changed. Our speaker again has left UF and she was the foremost speaker on invasive plants. So instead now we are going to, and also it was Thanksgiving weekend, or week. So I changed the date to November 14th. That's the Tuesday before, and it'll be at 12:30 p.m. right after the professional webinar. So November 14th, 12:30 p.m. And we will be talking about Florida bulbs with Tom Lickman. So like I said, our original speaker canceled. And it is not at the regular time or date. You can look on our website to see what the new schedule looks like. It should be correct by now. Finally, we will not have a webinar in December. It usually never works out because people are on vacation and kids come home from school, and so that is also reflected on our website too. So it's my pleasure to introduce Amanda Marek. Amanda, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself and then go ahead and start your presentation?
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome.
My name is Amanda Marek. I'm here in Marion County, which is in Ocala. So hi to any of our Marion County folks. Today I'll be presenting to you all on small edibles for small spaces. Now I will focus on plants meant for zone 9A, which is, like Marion County, North Central Florida. Certainly there's other areas of Florida with different zones, but I do have some resources for you as well that I'll share. But let's go ahead and dive into small edibles for small spaces. And this program was, Jen mentioned the survey, and the surveys really are very important to us because this program was born from the feedback that we had received from participants who wanted plants for smaller areas. So if you don't have, acreage or a huge yard, this program is certainly for you. Okay, so like she mentioned, the Florida Friendly Landscaping Program, I'm actually the FFL coordinator here for Marion. And it is statewide, it is a statewide program, but here, I focus primarily on, Ocala and the surrounding areas. We do multiple programs throughout the year, focusing primarily on homeowners, but we also work with landscapers too. And I'll provide some resources where you can also find out more information about upcoming programs and events we will be hosting here in Marion County throughout the year. And that is, I'll share this later on, but that's my contact information and our address. So for today, edible ornamentals for your landscape. We'll dive into first of all, what is edible ornamental landscape? This really got very, very popular during the COVID shutdowns. A lot of folks were home, they were looking at their yards. I'm like, I want to do something. So we actually were inundated with people wanting to learn how to grow things that weren't just pretty, but they could also get food from. So that's where this was born from. The FFL principles we can apply to anything, including edible ornamentals. Some considerations for containers, herbs and spices, veggies and greens. We'll touch a little bit on citrus because there are some things that you should be aware of with growing citrus in Florida. And then we'll end with shrubs and some edible flowers. So first of all, what is an edible landscape? It really can be anything you want it to be. It intermixes non-edible ornamental plants with edible plants that are both attractive and suitable for your landscape. And Dr. Gail Hansen, who we've partnered with on this program, does have a really useful publication on landscape design with edibles. And we are in the works now to also produce more design ideas and publications on this specific topic. In general, your plants don't have to be native. They may be native or non-native to be Florida friendly. The key is making sure they're not invasive exotic. So we don't want to be planting air potato and coconut grass and Mexican petunias all over the place. And just so you're aware, invasive does not mean a weed. A weed is only a weed if you call it a weed. And I'm sure some of you are aware of some native plants that, well, they don't behave. So an invasive is actually one that's not from Florida, not from the United States. It spreads into our natural areas and it changes how our ecosystems function. So that's really the defining factor, is they change how an ecosystem functions. We also want to attract wildlife. Now, this is a catch-22. Any of y'all that grow blueberries or fruit of any kind, even vegetables, you might be fighting the birds, the raccoons, the squirrels. But yes, we do want to attract that wildlife, particularly our birds and our pollinators that are really struggling. Now, for any Florida-friendly landscape, including your edibles, you want them to be diverse. You want to have multiple different plants, heights, textures, blooming periods, blooming, even the color and the shape of the bloom. You want to have that diversity of evergreens and deciduous to not only have productivity throughout the year, so you have a winter crop, a summer crop, etc., but also you're providing that wildlife habitat throughout the year. Now, low maintenance with Florida-friendly landscaping, as long as you go by, those Florida-friendly landscaping principles, you've done your research, your zone, right plant, right place, you can certainly have a lower maintenance yard. Now, I hate to disappoint, there's no such thing as a zero maintenance or no maintenance. We get that question all the time. How do you prevent the weeds? Well, if you figure out a way to 100% prevent the weeds, please let us know. But the goal here, again, is not no maintenance. We want to be realistic, but therefore lower maintenance. And all of the plants we're going to cover today really are productive with minimal inputs. And that also goes hand in hand with drought tolerant. Majority of Florida-friendly plants that we recommend, we really want to emphasize perennials. Now, you can certainly have annuals. Many vegetable crops are annuals, and that's fine. but usually, especially for a landscape, try to emphasize perennials. You know, those plants that once they're established, they're pretty much on their own, and they can be productive for you for years and years down the road and will be attractive. And then keep the annuals, like, you know, a bed of annual vegetables, for example, in a certain spot that's you know, maintained and smaller. So we don't want to really emphasize too much on the annuals that will constantly need the water and therefore the maintenance too. We did put together, Mark Bailey, myself, and then again, Dr. Hansen, we did put together an edible ornamental landscaping guide for North Central Florida. The IFAS publication is there. IFAS is also now Ask IFAS. So if you see Ask IFAS, it pulls up any of our University of Florida based documents. And there's an entire edible ornamental Florida friendly landscaping page that also has multiple resources for you on the specific topic. This publication has multiple pictures, some of which you'll see today. And at the end is a chart or a table, and we summarize many edible ornamental plants, including many today. We summarize them in a chart that is useful to reference. So for your design considerations, we always want to, you know, start with the first principle of Florida friendly landscaping, which is right plant, right place. So plants are living things. They're just like you and I. They've got wants and they have needs. You know, if you stick me in Michigan in the winter, I'm not going to be very happy. I'm a Florida girl, and plants are the same thing. If you stick a plant, you know, that wants the cold in the middle of summer heat, it's not going to be happy. But, you know, put one that wants shade and sun, you get the idea. So really trying to focus on matching the plants to your site rather than trying to change your yard, change your site to match the plants that you want, if that makes any sense. It's much easier to pick the right plant for the place, you know, plants that are suited for those site conditions, your pH, your water, your sunlight. They'll be happier. They'll need less maintenance. They'll need less care, and they'll still be productive with very little help from you, which is what we all want, right? So again, try to pick the plants for your yard rather than trying to make your yard fit the plants that you want, okay? So with that, matching your light, your soil and water conditions, testing your soil pH. Most extension services, and you have one in every county in the state, every extension service can help you test your soil. We actually here in Marion County, we can test your soil pH here in-house. It's just $2 a sample. You can bring that soil into our office and we can have that taken care of for you. If you want a full nutrient analysis and pH, UF has a soils lab that can also help you with that. Now, this is a big one. Know the mature size of the plants you want to plant to allow them to grow. We will be having a fall plant sale here coming up October 7th. I have the flyer for you here at the end, and it's really, really tempting when you go to a nursery or you go to a plant show and there's multiple plant sales coming up in October we're super excited about. So it's very easy to walk around and start scooping them up and buying everything. And then you get home, you, your husband, whoever unloads the truck with all your plants, all your new babies, and you're like, now what? Where do all these go? So having a plan first can really help. You save money and save frustration down the road, and then doing your homework to see how big those cute little baby plants are going to get when they mature. So just like my kids, they're not so cute anymore. They can get bigger. And we run into a lot of issues with overcrowding, plants planted too close to a house. You know, you get issues with the foundation, etc. And then lastly, selecting those low maintenance, hardy, non-invasive, Florida-friendly plants. And there is an entire plant guide. So if you go on the Florida-friendly landscaping website under resources, you can actually pull up the plant app, which is really useful because there's a nice filter. There's also a butterfly app and a few others. But if you go on the Florida Friendly Landscaping website, you can pull up that plant guide that can certainly help you pick some. So for your design considerations, know your zone. Okay, so Marion County, here we are in the middle. We used to be zone 8B, but all of the zones with our warming climate, they've all moved up a bit. So we are now zone 9A, which you can see encompasses parts of Alachua County, goes all the way up into Jacksonville, Levy, and then a little snippet here in the Panhandle. So we're zone 9A, which means that in the winter, our average extreme minimum temperatures can be right around 20 to 25 degrees. So you want plants that can tolerate 20 to 25 degrees and come back. That's the goal. You want them to come back. And then depending on your zone, 8A, you're quite a bit cooler. So the smaller the number, the further north you go, the bigger the number, the further south you are. So a lot of folks make the mistake of purchasing a zone 10 plant, sticking it in Ocala, and then, hey, we get our winter and then they may not come back. Okay, so definitely know your zone and pick those plants that are suitable for it. On the flip side, we oftentimes run into issues with chill hours. Now, chill hours are, without getting too technical, they're above freezing, but below, I believe it was 45 degrees. So certain crops like blueberries, apples, peaches, nectarines, those all need certain amount of chill hours to be productive. Thankfully, blueberries do great in Florida. Majority of the state, central on north, they do very, very well. There are certain blueberries further south. You'll have to really make sure you get the low chill varieties. But for the most part, anybody in central Florida and north, you do great. Now, then you run into issues with apples. You always get people asking us about apples. Apples will grow in Florida, but getting an apple or two off your tree, that's a different story. And usually it's because we don't have those chill hours that they require. If you do want to experiment, I have some plants on my own property that are a little bit, on the cold sensitive side. Plant those plants that are on the less cold hardy side on the southwest side of your property, near pavement or even under or near the canopy of a large tree can help radiate some heat and hold heat by those plants to help them get through the winter. Most of our edible ornamentals do want sun. There are a few exceptions that we'll talk about. And also keep in mind that light will change as the plants mature. So your soil pH, don't guess, get a soil test. There's the link to our IFAS, the soil testing. And like I said, every extension service in the state can certainly help you with that. And we mentioned the spacing. The minimum distance a shrub should be from the foundation of your home, according to IFAS, is about 3 feet. Some building codes say 2.5. So you're trying to aim for 2.5 to 3 feet of space from your plant to the foundation. And I have a picture here in a second as to why. Trees, now for small to medium-sized trees, the University of Florida recommendation is at least 15 feet from the foundation of your home. So how do you measure spacing? So you actually measure not from the size of the plant, but from the center. So for figs, for example, that can get maybe 30 feet. You measure from the center of one to the center of the next. If these can get 30 feet wide, you have 15 feet, 15 feet. So that means these plants should be at least 30 feet apart, okay? And this is a really useful diagram for if you are going to plant around your home. Always plant any shrubs or flowering plants forward of the drip line, okay? So you don't want the plant right up against the house. You can get a lot of insect issues, disease issues. And then also, why would you not want to put it under the drip line? Well, remember, you're trying to let these plants be on their own after they're established. And that means rain. So if they are under a large eave, they're not getting that rainfall. Okay, so forward of the eave so they can get that rainfall and you have that proper airflow, both for the safety of your home and the health of the plant. Watering, we always usually recommend micro irrigation for ornamentals, also edibles too. Micro irrigation keeps water to the roots, not on the leaves. That helps reduce disease pressure. And again, if you emphasize those perennials, you're really, you can reduce or cut back that irrigation after they're established, which is a win-win. The fruiting, for the most part, we want to, not have to fertilize once they're established. So if they're healthy, fruiting and flowering, you pick the right plant for the right place, your pH is right, you may not really need to fertilize at all. Some edibles will appreciate some fertilizer before or during fruit set. But honestly, I don't fertilize hardly anything at all. We've got an entire ornamental demonstration garden, and the only thing we fertilized was one tree in the dead center. And then mulch is a huge help with both getting your plants established and preventing weeds. Florida Friendly Landscaping recommends, like pine bark, pine needles. Pine needles are actually the best at weed suppression. Melaleuca is great. It's an invasive tree. They harvest, get it out of the Everglades, and use it for mulch. And then 2 to 3 inches is best for that weed suppression. But don't pile it up against the base of the trunk or base of the plant. You want to keep some airspace again for those roots. This is one of my favorite pictures at one of my favorite nurseries. It's a native plant nursery down in South Florida, or Groveland. It's not too far south, called Green Isle Gardens. And it says, if something is not eating the plants in your garden, then your garden is not part of the ecosystem. And I love that, because even though you're trying to grow edibles, you want to also, provide habitat for those pollinators and the wildlife too. So try to have a mix of host plants, which is what the caterpillars will eat, and those nectar plants too, and having some tolerance for wildlife damage, which goes hand in hand with, if you do have a bug, thankfully, majority of our aphids, scales can be treated with neem oil or horticultural soap, but identify the bug first. You don't want to be killing the monarch caterpillars that you mistaken as a pest. Identify them first, and your extension service can certainly help you with that. And then when it comes time to it, use the least toxic method first. Oftentimes just pruning out that bad branch or smothering that leaf is a good to go. And real quickly, this beautiful beauty berry, which if you haven't gone out, they are in full fruiting right now. They're gorgeous. They're living their best life right now with those dark, beautiful purple berries. This one was actually in an HOA community here in Ocala, planted in the backyard. Beautiful plant, and they had it pruned really nicely. They are deciduous though, so that means they're going to lose their leaves. So to have some, color and cover year round, it is recommended that you intermix either winter annuals nearby a deciduous plant, or plant some evergreen, so you always have that color. And then, like we mentioned too, that seasonality, having different plants that produce, different fruits and blooms throughout the year. And I'm going to emphasize, any of y'all that live in an HOA, you have to get HOA approval. So please make sure that before you, invest a lot of money and you plant a new edible ornamental landscape, make sure you get HOA approval first. All right, so when it is time to plant, make sure the top of that root ball is 2 inches above the soil line. Again, the mulch is not up against the trunk. And if it's root bound, okay, a tree, if you're going tree shopping, run away. If you see a tree in the nursery or in the pot and it's got circling roots, run away. This guy can be salvaged, but you have to prune those roots, shave off the sides, shave off the bottom, and water, water, water. Same with shrubs, letting them get to that establishment point. General rule of thumb is, the bigger the plant, the longer it's going to take to get established. So if you're planting a tree, give it at least 1.5 years, and then it's pretty much on its own. Shrubs, depending on the size, it can be 4 to 6 months or so. And then the smaller plants, it may only be 2 months, 3 months, and they're pretty much established, which is, again, the great thing with micro irrigation, you can remove it once they're established, or keep it if you wish. And then that mulch, that 2 to 3 inches, can also help, but again, keeping it away from the base of those plants. So now that we went over the FFL principles, we're going to dive into quickly on containers. You can certainly have edible ornamentals in a container. Just be aware that they will need extra care. A plant in a pot is always going to need you. Cover them in freezes, especially if it's more on the cold sensitive side, because containers don't insulate the roots nearly as good as the soil does. So if we're expected to get a freeze, certainly cover it or move it indoors if you can. This pot here, if you can hand water, great. But if you're like me, you're busy, you forget, micro irrigation, I personally, my preference are these emitters, because you can see them. They have the little like fingers that shoot out, and you can turn it to cap it off, or turn it to have it come on. And do make sure you realize again that that plant is completely dependent on you, and that soil is its own little home and it's going to be taking nutrients from that soil. So make sure you change it out every few years or so, not overwatering and not overcrowding, which is common with containers. This is our demonstration garden here at our Marion County Extension Service. The demo gardens are always open. So even though our office is Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, the demo gardens are always there for you. This is a lovely bay tree we have in our herb area that is in a container. Now, this one is preferable because it's in a container, but the container's open, so the roots can go out. And that is because of drainage. You really want to make sure any container that you are using has good drainage. Some folks even, I've got a large antique butter churn from my great grandmother I use as a pot. And we have rocks and some mulch down at the base to help with that drainage. That, and it's cheaper than putting a bunch of dirt into a big pot. So avoid heavy, dense potting mixes. This is a recipe, if you will, for how to make your own potting mix. Complete slow release fertilizers after new growth. You don't want to fertilize a brand new plant. That's true if it's in a container in the ground. You really want to make sure they get established before you start fertilizing, so you don't stress them out. Or, the worst case too is you stress out the plant and you're wasting all that fertilizer that's going into our water bodies. Containers, like we mentioned, you want to keep annuals minimized, the amount of annuals that you have. So containers are great for that. You can have certain areas that pop of color, for the different seasons, if you wish. That's excellent for that purpose. There are some, again, IFAS documents. This one is on fruit crops that were good for containers, tropical citrus, and the temperate fruits. Keep in mind, most of these are dwarf varieties, so dwarf avocado. I saw a massive avocado tree recently, not good for a container. So dwarf would be okay. And then these, and you can reference that. I also came across this wonderful document on container gardening. It not only recommends different spacing, but also the varieties. That is a really common mistake with folks trying to plant any edibles, especially vegetables and fruits. In Florida, they don't pay attention to the variety. So make sure that you're getting varieties that are suitable for Florida. And this document will be referenced. I'm assuming Jen will send out the publication if you wish, but she'll send out a copy and you can have, there's the link there. This is an excellent publication that shows the planting spacing, but also the varieties to refer to. All right, and then one of my favorites, herbs. So many herbs and spices do very well in North Central Florida. I mean, actually throughout the state, they do very well. And some of them can be absolutely gorgeous. This was a yard I did a site visit for, and the homeowner was actually slightly embarrassed. She's like, I'm so sorry. All these things have bolted. They've all gone to flower. I'm like, why are you saying sorry? This is beautiful. The cilantro looked like wedding bouquets. And the pollinators, they were covered in native bees and wasps. It was phenomenal. So, as many of these herbs are self-seeding, like the cilantro here that were in bloom. They can be annuals, they can be perennials. Having a mix of all of the above is perfect. And for your own knowledge, I didn't know this. So if you're ever in a trivia game, herbs are the leafy part of a plant. Spices are the seeds, berries, bark, stem, or roots. So one plant can technically be considered both an herb and a spice, depending on which parts are edible and desirable. Okay, so keep in mind with most herbs, they do need full sun, and almost every single herb needs well-drained soil. So you don't want them sitting in standing water. Herbs don't like their feet wet. So the flowers of many herbs are highly attractive also to pollinators. We mentioned the cilantro here. And rosemaries, basils, anything really in that mint family, they love, especially the basils I'm going to show you guys here in a second. And then remember, we mentioned attracting wildlife. So host plants, again, the butterflies are going to lay eggs, the caterpillars are going to come munch them down. Okay, finding some tolerance for that wildlife. But you can, if you want to attract those butterflies, plant host plants like dill, parsley, and fennel. So the herbs and spices, so the basils, African blue, which is pictured here. It has like a bluish tint to the flower. It's gorgeous. And holy basil. Those are two of some of my favorite basils. I personally believe that the Thai basil that you see listed there and the holy basil tastes better than the African blue. But the downside, well, I mean, not necessarily downside, African blue is sterile. So if you don't want a plant that reseeds, African blue basil is a sterile hybrid. It's not going to reseed. The Thai basil that I have at home and the Tulsi, which I also have at home, has gone crazy. It's reseeded itself very happily. So if you don't want that, go for the sterile. Otherwise, the holy basils and the Thai basils will reseed and return. Now, if you're looking, now all of those are not the sweet Italian basils most of us are used to. They have more of a peppery taste, almost like a licoricey taste, depending on which one you have. If you want that sweet Italian basil sometimes has issues with sooty mold, may suffer in the heat. It can just be a little bit problematic. So the University of Florida actually came out with a new improved one called a Mazel basil. So there you see it's trademarked. And I'm not sure who developed this one, but there's another one called Pesto Besto. It's cute, right? So a Mazel basil and Pesto Besto are two improved sweet basils that will do better for you in Florida in the long run. Borage, which is a unique one. This is like an old school, back in, Florida settlers used to use this as a companion plant, especially for tomatoes. Edible, beautiful flower. There's the flower there. It kind of reminds me of Jumanji. It's a beautiful plant. It's usually an annual. I know mine died and hasn't come back. Chives is a great perennial. The onion chives, if you let them go to bloom, they're pictured here, have a gorgeous purple bloom on them. They're really pretty. The onion chives, their onion chives is purple. The garlic chives is white. We mentioned the cilantro, dills, fennels. Now, we mentioned most of these want sun. The exception is the gingers and the turmerics. Those want shade. So if you do have an area under a tree, for example, like a large oak, the gingers and the turmerics would be perfect for that. We do get questions about lavender. Lavender can do really well here. The one that the University of Florida recommends is called Phenomenal. Lemon balms, marjorams. Now mint. Be careful with mint. Mint can be a beautiful container plant. Some folks will plant it as a ground cover because it goes crazy. It will reseed. It's not, to my knowledge, listed on any invasive lists, but especially chocolate mint. It literally tastes like an Andes chocolate mint. It's really good. Some folks will plant it in a little scape and then be a ground cover. So every time you mow, it smells like chocolate mint. But just be aware of those can be very aggressive. And then, of course, any of the oregano, parsleys. Rosemary is excellent. And I actually have a picture here. if this will progress. Whoop, there we go. So rosemary can actually be a wonderful hedge plant or foundation plant. It is evergreen and it has that mint-like flower that pollinators absolutely love. So that one certainly is like a staple evergreen for your edible ornamental. I definitely recommend. Sages are evergreen. The society garlic, a lot of people don't realize it's one of the most popularly planted ornamentals and HOAs, but it is edible. Society garlic usually has a purple flower on it. Now, again, trivia question, society garlic, it got its name because when you eat it, it's not supposed to give you garlic breath. It's not true. I've tried it. It's not true, but it is good. Now, there is a white society garlic. We actually have here, our master gardeners have it in propagation, but I ate it yesterday and it has no taste. So it's a beautiful plant. Pollinators are all over it, but it's not for eating. So stick to the traditional purple society garlic. And then, of course, tarragon thyme, there's endless ones. These were all photos that I have taken from HOAs, from this is our demonstration garden, and even in our own master gardeners, they have some beautiful herb gardens. So this was hers, Miss Sheena. That's the amazel basil I was telling you about. That's that sweet, improved variety. I mean, look at the flower on dill. I mean, I never would have thought that dill would have been that beautiful. And again, pollinators absolutely love it. So endless varieties. We actually found, a couple of my master gardeners and I found a purple tricolor sage at a local nursery. So endless possibilities to have a lot of fun with. Then your traditional vegetables and greens. And like I mentioned, try, most of these are annual, which is fine, but, designate that part of your area, of your landscape, that you can focus on as, say, your annual bed. But for the most part, for your edible ornamentals, having them be perennials. So let's get into some of these vegetables and greens. And again, there's endless varieties, but these are particularly ornamental. So dinosaur kale, it's really cool. I'll show you a picture here in a second, or also called Tuscan kale, very nutritious. Now, be careful with things that are labeled ornamental, like ornamental cabbages, ornamental sweet potato, and ornamental kales. Most of them are for the ornamental value, not so much the taste. Vast majority of any of those ornamental vegetables are actually very bitter and don't taste that great, but you can use them, slightly as, say, garnishes. Spinaches, we'll show you here in a picture here, but there's multiple different types of spinaches, or like plants that are related to the spinach that you and I know. Okinawa has a beautiful purple underside. And then the Malabar, which is actually more like a vine. The rubra, which I'll show you here, we have in our demonstration garden. The Malabar spinach has a beautiful red stem on it. It's very attractive. And then Suriname spinach, also called jewels of Opar, has some beautiful seeds. The seed pods are called the jewels, and I'll show you here in a second. Swiss chard, this is a cool season crop. So if you're getting ready for your fall vegetable garden, now's the time to get ready. Usually September, October is the time to start planting, depending on your area of Florida. Swiss chards, some of them can be very colorful. Bright lights, bright yellows. Rainbow chard, rainbow chard is gorgeous. It's in just multiple colors. And then the ornamental peppers. Remember, like I said, if it's labeled ornamental, it may not taste the greatest. Same thing with the ornamental peppers. The heat is extreme. Even for people who like hot food, they're probably too hot, but still pretty, as you can see here in the picture here. They're very pretty. But I'm a wimp when it comes to spice. I'm not going to touch them, but if you want to experiment, go for it. All right. And then, so we mentioned mustards. There's the red mixed with the green. It's just gorgeous. There's that really cool picture of the dinosaur kale and the Suriname spinach. If you can see the little jewels, okay, the little fruits on there. The rainbow chard, and this photo is true. When I saw rainbow chard for the first time, it was phenomenal. Very nutritious. And this was the picture here of that Malabar spinach that was growing on a trellis back here in our demo gardens with the beautiful red stems. So endless possibilities. Romanesco broccoli, I have personally not seen yet, but I want to because it looks amazing. The mustard greens that we just saw, and then even the cauliflower. Did you know there's other colors of cauliflower? I didn't. So I might need to try this with my kids. Purples and greens. There's even an orange one called cheddar. So endless possibilities to have some fun with your annual vegetables that can also be very ornamental. All right, and then we're going to quickly talk about citrus, just so you guys are aware, because we always get the question about, citrus. And I mean, it's Florida, it's on our license plate. So unfortunately, I want to say it's probably been about 20 years ago, citrus greening was introduced to our state. It is a fatal bacterial disease that's spread by a little teeny tiny bug. It looks like a gnat called a psyllid. So unfortunately, none of our citrus is completely resistant. Some of them are tolerant. And that is why we list here the sugar bell. The sugar bell mandarin has been shown to be tolerant. It will still get infected, but produce sweet, good fruit. That is the concern with citrus greening. It'll infect the tree. And then eventually, I mean, it can be 1-2 years, it can be decades, but eventually the fruit starts to taste really bad and bitter, may not ripen, and eventually the tree dies. So it depends on the age of the tree and the variety. Will depend on how quickly it progresses. But to prevent infection, the vast majority of our citrus in the state now is produced under these huge tents. I mean, they just rows and rows that go for miles under these large protective tents. Some folks will move their citrus into a screen-in porch or a lanai, which obviously you'd keep in a container usually. There are also citrus actual tents you can purchase online. It looks like a giant butterfly net that you would keep around your tree, especially when it's young and not fully established yet. But generally, kind of keep on the safe side, and we do recommend the varieties that are tolerant, which include the sugar bell, which is a sweet mandarin, and this weird looking thing. If you've never seen it, it's actually from Australia. It's called a finger lime. It looks really weird, like caviar almost, but it's really good for making lemonades. All right, and shrubs. So this is one of my absolute favorite plants. So we talk about blueberry a lot. Blueberry is native to the state, but you see many cultivated blueberries, usually the main crop. This one, on the other hand, is our true native. It's called Darrow's blueberry, and it's so pretty. We have a new home, a year old, and all along the foundation, instead of just a traditional hedge or flowering plant, we planted Darrow's blueberry, and we have so much fruit. We couldn't eat it all. Me and my kids were out there every single day harvesting fruit, bringing it to friends and loved ones, and we still couldn't eat all the fruit. And the great thing is this is evergreen. It stays only about 2 feet tall and wide, so it doesn't get overly big. The new foliage has that beautiful purple tint to it, so it's very attractive year round. And then in the late spring to early summer, you get the fruit. And they're smaller, but are super sweet. Very, very good berries on the Darrows. But do make sure, full to partial sun, and then acidic soils. Blueberries are one of those that really want acidic soils. This was a photo I took at an HOA during a site visit. This homeowner had pineapple growing all around the backside of their pool lanai. And pineapples are actually bromeliads, and it was very attractive. It was so beautiful. So yeah, full to partial sun is preferable. They are on the cold sensitive side, so you will want to either put them on the southwest side or protect them if we do get a really harsh freeze. They usually return, but it knocks them back pretty hard. So depending on the variety, they may grow to be about 3 to 6 feet. So give them space. I've got one in a container. I think it was called Golden. Some type of golden something pineapple. There's some labeled just for containers. And then we mentioned the rosemary already. It's a beautiful perennial evergreen herb with very attractive flowers for pollinators. And they can get big, you know, I mean, we're talking like 6 feet tall, but they can be pruned to size if you don't want them getting quite that big. One of my favorites, and this is a growing industry in the state, it's Yaupon Holly tea. If you've never had it, there's a few different companies that are now selling Yaupon Holly tea in the state. And it's very, very good. It's not quite as astringent as, you know, like the traditional green teas that we're used to. Yaupon is native. It's actually naturally caffeinated. And so there's a Yaupon tree, but for the Yaupon Holly tea, to make harvesting easier, they usually use the dwarf varieties. Bordeaux dwarf Yaupon stays pretty small. Most nurseries sell either the Nana or the Shillings, also called Shillings, depending on the spelling. But so the Nana or the Shillings or Shillings, those are all dwarf varieties of Yaupon Holly. Evergreen plant. Now, these are male cultivars, so they don't get the berry, unfortunately. But if you do want the berry, look for the Yaupon Holly tree. And that will, you know, obviously need a lot more space. But if you get the female Yaupon Holly and they're putting off berries now, you'll get the birds. Would love it. Otherwise, for your smaller area, the dwarf Yaupon is your friend. And many folks also like to experiment with what's called roselle, cranberry, hibiscus, sorrel. It goes by many different names. It's usually an annual that has a beautiful hibiscus-like flower. It is in the hibiscus family. And if you've never had the drink, the sorrel drink, when I was in Trinidad and Tobago, I drank it by the gallon. It was so good. It's actually, if you can see, the fruit, see this red fleshy fruit that's on the calyx, that's what you make the drink out of. And you can actually make a cranberry relish using that calyx, and it's really, really, really good. So that's a gorgeous one to include. And lastly, we'll wrap up with edible flowers. Yes, you can eat flowers. It's a good one if you have kids or grandkids. Portulaca, also called purslane. This one actually, you know, the entire plant is edible. Now, I will warn you, not all purslanes taste the same. I have tasted multiple different purslanes, and every single one of them tasted different. I will be honest with you, I would look. So this one here has a wide leaf. I haven't tasted that one yet. Well, not this one particularly. Most of the wide round leaf portulacas I've had, not good at all. The one that has the longer, skinnier leaves tastes like pickles. We actually purchased one from a nursery here in Ocala called Scrubland Farms Nursery. And we nicknamed it the pickle plant. It literally tastes like pickles. Now you have to, you know, eat it sparingly. It has a lot of oxalates, like spinach can have a lot of oxalates. So you eat it sparingly, like as a garnish, or like my kids just go out there, my husband will go out there and eat their pickle plant. So sparingly is perfect. And the flower is gorgeous. Pineapple sage, if you're wanting to attract hummingbirds and butterflies, salvias, which sage and salvia are the same thing. Pineapple sage is in the mint family. It has like a pineapple-y like taste to the flowers. Hummingbirds and butterflies love it. Just really make sure what you have is pineapple sage, because the native red tropical salvia or tropical sage looks almost identical. They look very, very similar, but you can't eat tropical sage, okay? So make sure you know what you got. And then nasturtiums. We recently visited Monticello with Thomas Jefferson, who this was one of his favorite plants. He actually brought it over from the old world. Personally, I don't think it tastes that great, but it can be used as a garnish in salads, and some people love them. Otherwise, it is an absolutely gorgeous annual to include, especially in a container plant. So these are the resources that we'll be sending out to you. I mean, endless resources. And like I mentioned, reach out to your local extension service, who is a wealth of information. Oops, did I click on that? Oh no. Okay, well, there you go. See, growing fruits, crops in containers. So I also want to remind you, October 7th, our master gardeners actually have many of these plants out ready for sale at our fall plant sale. And if you want to be in the know for future programs and events that myself, our master gardeners are doing, go visit our Solutions for Your Life website, which is what SFYL stands for, Solutions for Your Life. And probably the best place to go to is our Marion County Master Gardener Facebook page. That's where we keep up most of our events and programs for you to be on the lookout for. Otherwise, with that, again, that's my address if you want to come visit us, and my contact information. So I appreciate you all visiting us today, and I'll open up to any questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Amanda. Let me see what, let's see. I did put, a few people were still interested and didn't realize that the nature journaling wasn't taking place today. So I did put a bunch of different resources in the chat box and other authors that you can find. But Amanda, thank you for the wonderful presentation. Does anybody have any questions? I don't see any questions on here so far. Let me check my no questions and answers. Let's see. So any questions, anybody? Maybe about the resources that she showed. Let's see, will we get slides for future review? Would you, Amanda, would you mind sharing via PDF?
Oh yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay, if you'll just send me a PDF of the slides, I'll and then people who want them, please email me and I'll send them to you.
Y'all didn't copy all those EDIS links? I mean, come on.
Yeah,
I'll be happy to send that to you.
Thank you. Let's see, can you provide links specific to Collier zone? I guess to Collier's, Collier County.
Oh, is it Collier County?
That's what I'm guessing they're thinking.
Okay. Yeah, that would probably be, just go to the Solutions for Your Life website, and you can actually find your extension service on that Solutions for Your Life website for Collier County.
Yeah, and they'll be able to answer, agents in your county will be able to answer those questions. And to find your county, you can always Google your county plus IFAS extension office, and it'll bring you right to the page for your county. Let's see. I think that was the only question. Excuse me for my beeping there. Yes, and like I said, email me if you'd like a copy of Amanda's presentation, and I will get that to you as soon as I can. Let me see one more. How can you be sure you are getting a true dwarf shrub? All my dwarf shrubs will grow into trees if I don't keep them trimmed. That's true.
I actually personally ran into that too. I bought what was sold to me as a dwarf Walters viburnum. It wasn't. It started to get up into the roof of our house. I'm like, darn, how to keep pruning this. So unfortunately, most of the dwarfs look, if you just looked at the leaves or the stems, they look very similar, if not the same, to the non-dwarf. So just trying to buy from a reputable nursery, a reputable company. That's really the only thing I can think of, and read those plant tags. Also be aware that dwarf sometimes is just referring to the leaf size or the flower size. Dwarf firebush, for example, can get huge, but the leaf is smaller. But yeah, it's a common issue.
It is. Let's see if we've got any more here. Yeah, my email, I just put my email in the chat box. Let's see. I don't think there are any other questions. So Amanda, thank you so much for filling in on such short notice, with my cancellation. And like I said, everybody, the schedule has changed just a little bit. It's not quite updated on the website yet, but next month's webinar is unchanged. So just November and December are changed. So make sure you check that in maybe like a week or two. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
And I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks.